You're not Dan. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. And of course, I'm joined by the host of Wobblin Jaw Sports, Mr. Sam Revill. It's good to have you on here.
Thank you.
It's great to not have Dan on here.
I'm in unfamiliar territory, mate. Thank you so much for the invitation.
We'll make it familiar for you a little bit later on in the show because we see you're all dressed up in the Cowboys gear, and we're going to give the Cowboys a little bit of love tonight. But let's start off with something that you and I both love, nearest and dearest to our heart. And that is the Queensland Origin Series win, Sam. Queensland are the 2025 Origin champions. Now, I know that you were doing the commentary with my co-host on this game, Dan. What were your thoughts on the game?
Let me take my mind back in time to Wednesday night. It was just domination, really, from the Maroons. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-yay. The Blues came back in the second half for a fleeting moment, but then Tommy Dearden just completely and utterly snuffed out the chances of the Blues. Yeah,
he was brilliant. I thought Cam Munster stepped up pretty well as well. Hammer at fullback was really good, but it was more the forward battle. Because you saw in game one, Payne Haas really took it to the Maroons forwards, and that's what won them the game. And if you have a look at the stats, the games 2 and game 3, the forward battle was a lot more tighter, and didn't give New South Wales enough room to move. So it didn't give Nathan Cleary enough room to move, or Jerome Luai, or Dylan Edwards. But I thought Billy Slater, he's the man of the series for me because he came up with the call to drop Daly Cherry Evans.
Yes. To
resist the urge to debut Jamal Fogarty and bring Tom Dearden into the halfback spot. And then he goes with a rookie in Rob Toya and an Origin rookie in the biggest game of his career in game 3 in Gurmit Shibasaki.
Yes.
What do you think of the decisions that Billy Slater made?
At the time, definitely was calling for his head up in Brisbane. I can give you the inside word that we were calling for his head, and that we thought he had actually lost his head, as you alluded to before. But Shibasaki has been one of the top 5 centres of 2025. So that's how Origin was when I was growing up. And over the past few years, under the Brad Fittler era, it's been a lot of favouritism, hasn't it?
Yeah. And you can see with the Shibasaki, it's sort of like you remember the Adam Moggs and the Stephen Bells who come out of nowhere. And, you know, Shibasaki looked like he'd played 15 Origins.
Sure did.
Yeah. And then, you know, Kurt Capewell getting the recall, Josh Papali'i as well.
Yep.
I was sitting there thinking, if this goes pear-shaped, Slater's done. But now he looks like a genius.
Yes, he does. Yes.
On the flip side of coaches, it's come out that Laurie Daly wants to keep his job for 2026, and the New South Wales Blues have come out and said that Laurie Daly is going to keep his job.
They don't break contracts.
They don't break contracts. Now, you and I, both sitting here as Queenslanders, are probably saying, well, thank you. You know, if you're not keeping Fittler, you're keeping Daly. But looking at it on an objective way, if they're going to keep Laurie Daly, they have to abandon his selection committee, or they have to take the selection away from him, because there were some players that didn't play for that New South Wales team, and you have to ask yourself why.
Yes, Laurie Daly will be there next season. Should he deserve that? I think he does, but only just. It is him missing Mitch Moses that really hurt a lot. Nathan Cleary's form wasn't up to scratch as well. So there are a couple of things that do go in Laurie Daly's favour. But yeah, there were a couple of selections like Big Terrell May that he didn't make that probably cost them a truckload. Also Keon Kolomatangi as well at the same time. So there was still just a fraction, just an element of favouritism in some of his selections. Also with Craig Bellamy next to him as well, with that Stefano Utukamanu flavour, Melbourne Storm flavour as well. So but maybe a little bit more luck in the injury department.
And that's what I'm saying there. Like, you have a look at Game 3, Max King and Stefano were dreadful. They made no impact on that game whatsoever. And yet, Terrell May is sat at home watching that Origin series. And Keon Kolomatangi is sat at home watching that Origin series. And Liam Martin had 5 runs.
I would have taken Lindsay Smith as well.
Yeah, Lindsay Smith is one. But Jacob Preston was sat at home in good form. I think that Laurie Daly needs to go back and have a look at the decisions that he made. Because I get it with the Mitch Moses, the injury, but injuries happen to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Because we didn't have Kalen Ponga. Now, it's great that we didn't have Kalen Ponga because the Hammer has been the form fullback of the competition for the last 6 weeks, not named James Tedesco.
Yes.
Who could have been in the New South Wales team as well. So it ebbs and flows, but, I think we're seeing that if we had lost the series, we would want Billy Slater sacked. And I think if New South Wales had won the series, a lot of their fans still probably wanted Laurie Daly sacked. So it's going to be a battle next year, but I think Laurie Daly needs to loosen his reins on who he's going to pick. And you can't not pick Terrell May if he's the form prop of the competition again. You just can't do it.
You also got to keep your mouth shut in games prior to game number 2. It was just a series where Queensland just went, thank you very much, we're going to use that, add that to our pot, and we're going to cook yous up big time, and that's exactly what they did. So New South Wales, you kind of need to shut your trap next season, stop giving them some impudence.
All the old heads coming out and saying Billy did this and Billy said this and whatever, and Queensland just kept quiet. They just went about, they went about it. So, all right, let's move away from Origin.
Yippee-yi-yay.
Yeah. We're going to talk about some decisions on the weekend that have me scratching my head, and it's the bunker. The bunker comes into this as well. Now, the first one's going to hit home here. The Scott Drinkwater no try. Now, he got clocked in the head and dropped the ball. And they've turned around and said that Viliame Kikau is just trying to make a tackle. But you're always trying to make a tackle when you hit someone in the face. That was the definition of a penalty try, and it's not given. And no one can understand why. And still to this, watching the replay 24 and 48 hours later as this drops, I'm still scratching my head as to how someone in the bunker looked at Scott Drinkwater diving for the line with the ball under his arm, gets hit in the head and drops it and says, Viliame Kikau is just affecting a tackle.
It just depends on if they've had their coffee or not that day, honestly, because if you travel with me back to 2019, there was a game that had the Cowboys versus the Tigers at 1-300. Jordan Carr, who came over the top of, I forget what player it was for the West Tigers, and he was trying to affect the tackle, clipped him, and that was awarded as a penalty try. And that game went into golden point. We were in the lead at that stage, but Jacob Little carved us up. Let's come back to the present now. I actually thought Scott Drinkwater was bobbling the ball before he planted it down. But technically, yes, I'm with you that Kikau did clip him on the chin, but I thought that he didn't quite have, I wouldn't say 100% control Scott Drinkwater of the pill at the time.
At the time that he hit him, the angle that I saw, the ball was under the arm. So that's how I'm viewing it. Regardless of, it's an active foul play in scoring a try. That is the definition of a penalty try.
Yeah, so from 2019, me is screaming for a penalty try, yes.
Now, the other one happened in the Warriors-Tigers game. Now, bomb was put up. Charlie Staines is looking at the ball. Warriors player runs through. Now, he's got eyes for the ball. Now, I get this. He's got eyes for the ball. But he overruns the ball, jumps straight into Charlie Staines, and takes Charlie Staines out, doesn't give him a chance to catch the ball. 5'8" Chanel Harris-Tavita picks the ball up, scores a try, it goes upstairs, and it's awarded as a try. How are they allowing a guy to do that? That is the definition of a disruptor.
That is your biggest bugbear, isn't it, for the past 18 months or so?
So I go back to round 1 last year when Cronulla played the Warriors, and Nicho Hynes put a bomb up. Will Kennedy ran through, jumped, got his hand to the ball, knocked the ball on, and they called Will Kennedy for a disruptor.
Yes.
Now, I am of the firm belief that if Cronulla had challenged that, it gets overturned because Will Kennedy got there first. This Warriors player didn't even touch the ball. He just ran and jumped straight into Charlie Staines. Now, I know it sucks because it's another call that went against the West Tigers, but when you go online and have a look at this, there was 5% of the trolls going, sucked in Tigers, and 95% of the NRL world going, how the hell is Ashley Klein, senior referee Ashley Klein in the bunker, looked at that and gone, no, that's a fair challenge. He just took him out. You know what I'm talking. He just took him out.
Yeah, no, but I actually don't have an answer for that, unfortunately, because it is, again, just up to the interpretation on the day. The referee will have a different interpretation probably in 48 hours' time with the exact same decision looming.
So this goes back to what I want the NRL to do is to just employ a set of 5 people that work every game from a central location. That's your only job. You work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You work every game. You watch rugby league. That is your job.
I love it.
That is a great job for anyone in the bunker, but they need to know the rules and be briefed on the rules, because I guarantee you that if me, you, Dids, Dan and Paul were in the bunker, all 5 of us going, that's not a try. Yeah, absolutely criminal, that. You know what else is criminal? The Melbourne Storm and the Penrith Panthers production line. Because we've seen Melbourne on the weekend rest their origin stars. They didn't have Will Warbrick to start off with. Xavier Coates didn't play. Harry Grant came off the bench, I think, or maybe he was a late inclusion into the starting lineup. Cam Munster didn't play. Trent Liero did, but he came off the bench for them. And they just bring in Tyrone Wishart here, and Nick Meaney goes to fullback because Pappenhausen didn't play, and Grant Anderson has played every position in the back line and been absolutely awesome. They got bloody Chan, who was a back rower, playing in the centres, and he was awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Last weekend, I was introduced to Tuamalatu Brown. I think that is how you pronounce his last name. I thought he was impressive. And I believe it was you that told me just a day or two ago that the Victorian team in the Jersey Flag are up on top of the ladder.
They are.
That sucks as someone that doesn't quite like the Melbourne Storm. But you've also got Lesati, I think that's how to pronounce his name, and Va'alepu as well, that are there ready to rock and roll in that forward pack, primarily for the Melbourne Storm. And then the Penrith Panthers, they really got their season back on track, I thought, with an understrength team that travelled to New Zealand and got that dub, and that instilled a hell of a lot of confidence in them. So they've been the benchmark for 5-6 years now. Melbourne Storm 20 years just quietly, but yes.
6 weeks ago, the Penrith Panthers were last. Now they're 6th.
It's possibly going to be the best NRL story of all time.
I mean, going back to the Melbourne production line, yes, they're first in Jersey Flag, and they're not just first, they're first and hammering everyone. So last weekend, the North Sydney Bears fed their players up to Melbourne, and so the Jersey Flag team fed their players up to the Bears, and the SG Ball team fed their players up to Jersey Flag, and they went to Cronulla and they pantsed Cronulla. And Cronulla are third.
Yeah.
And so if this was an understrength Flag team against a full strength Cronulla team, maybe minus Taj Ford, but got flogged. And then this week they've given Canterbury a hiding, and Canterbury were last year's premiers.
Yeah.
They're just smacking everyone. Then you have a look at Penrith. Their New South Wales Cup team near the top of the competition. Their flag team's going to make finals. It's just these two teams are flying. Penrith are now 5 or 6 wins in a row with a bye, and their production line of players coming in, they're not missing a beat. Maverick Guy was the 18th man, and you absolutely know that when Maverick Guy has played, he's played well.
Yes. I love coming down, getting this New South Wales report, because up in Queensland, I'm actually all over it. I'm absolutely all over it. But yeah, it is. If you're good, you're good.
Now I'm gonna give you a media gripe that I've got.
Talk to me.
So we are going to touch on this player later on in the Cowboys, but on March 30th, 2025, Buzz Rothfield came out with an article slandering Reed Mahoney that said Reed Mahoney is the problem at the Dogs and the reason why the Dogs aren't going to go anywhere in this competition, because his mouth will get him in trouble. He gives away too many penalties. He's a grub and people want to punch him in the face. Today, he's released an article that says, what are the Bulldogs thinking letting Reed Mahoney walk out the door? Now, I know you're the beneficiary of Reed Mahoney, but how can your tune... Because when he said this, the Bulldogs were flying and they were undefeated in the comp. They had just beaten Cronulla.
Yep.
But Reed Mahoney had stirred everybody up from Cronulla that night. He hit... who was that? Daniel Atkinson in the head while he was on the ground. Everyone thought he was going to get suspended. After he hit Dan Atkinson in the ground, we thought he was going to get sin bin. He didn't. The crowd was booing him. Reed Mahoney was given the forks to the crowd.
Yeah, I recall his first month of this season. Reed Mahoney was ill-disciplined. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But he did change it. He's absolutely changed it around. But so credit to him in that regard. But Buzz Rothfield is someone that goes up on 360 one night and says we got to be kinder to the players, mental health awareness, and at the same time Buzz is right in that sort of trite as well. And then 2-3 months later he's coming out saying why. So no, this is sort of a story where Reed Mahoney's taken back the power and turned it back on the people, and Buzz just looks like a what.
Yeah. Now, you're the Queensland media, obviously we don't get it because you don't get the Buzz Rothfield. Who's your version of Buzz Rothfield in Queensland?
There's a fella that talks about or hosts the Host Plus Cup on the sideline every now and then, but you've also got
Peter Battle?
Peter Bedell. You've also got a guy that does a conversation with, I think, Shane Webke or whatever. I can't actually give the answer. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's New South Wales media are happy to attack and then defend without going back to their attack. So it just really winds me up, and I just had to get that out of my system, Sam. Now, Sam, as my guest of the night, because we don't have Dan here, and it is quite nice not having Dan here, I will say that. Let's talk about your North Queensland Cowboys.
Let's talk some blue, yellow, and grey.
Yeah, let's do it now. Unfortunately, didn't come away with the chocolates in the men's game, but I thought a far better effort off the ball this week because the Cowboys, if they leak points, they can leak points in a bunch, and it's unfortunate that you did because you leaked 2 tries in 5 minutes before half time, and that's what cost
did
you
it.
the game.
Yep.
But I thought I saw some signs of improvement with you guys off the ball.
Yes.
You just couldn't catch the ball in the second half.
No, and that has been a sort of recent trend because over the past couple of years, while our defence hasn't been good, the completion rates for North Queensland over the past couple of years has been rather solid. We have finished inside the top 5 over the past couple of years in that department. Now, Todd Payten and every other Cowboy supporter is beginning to lose sleep at night because of this unravelling development with the errors. So buy some Velcro this weekend, Todd Payten. Now, I want to talk about the halves situation. So, first of all, I'll name drop someone, Ryan Revill.
Yeah, he used to play, he's a Cronulla boy.
He's been playing for the Mackay Cutters. Mackay Cutters is sitting 7th in the Host Plus Cup, and he was originally named as our 18th player back on Team List Tuesday. It was only last week that Tom Duffy, the poor bugger, played his 3rd or 4th first grade game this season after having 15 weeks out, after having a horrific opening 2 rounds of the season. Todd Payten has also come out over the past 10 weeks and said Jackson Purdue is the way of the future. Jake Clifford also came back in. We've got 4 halves that he's been mucking around with. Make it 5 if you include Fear the Deer as well. And next year's picture is no more clearer. And we've been giving Adam O'Brien, Newcastle head coach, a truckload of curry over the past year and a bit due to his swapping and changing of his halves in the Newcastle Knights. Well, Todd Payten said, let me have a go and see if I can make things a lot better. Not really, because Jackson Purdue's killing it in the centres, probably should stay in the centres. I don't know what your opinion is on that. I think he should stay in the centres for at least another season in 2026. And then who will partner Tom Dearden in the halves next year if the reports are to be believed that Tom Duffy is going to be said goodbye? The Raiders are going to take Jake Clifford as well. Yes, there's reports over the past fortnight that the Raiders are keen on Jake Clifford. But in any event, we've also heard the Cowboys are willing to let Duffy and Clifford go. But then you've got Ryan Revill hanging out the back here. Tom Dearden will be our halfback for the next decade, no questions. Who will partner him? It's Jackson Purdue, but I still think that it's maybe a year or two too early to pull the trigger on him in 5/8.
Now, Jackson Purdue reminds me of a young Jack Whiten, who started in the centres, started on the wing, went to fullback, had a crack at 5'8". They said, no, not yet. We're going to put you back in the centres and fullback just to learn the ball play and time your runs. Then he made that jump to the 5'8". Purdue's really, what is he, 20?
But if
that, he's really good. I like Jackson Purdue. He was in my Supercoach team and I nearly dumped him until they moved him back to the centres because his production went down. But I think you leave him in there just to develop his body and learn to defend a little bit better. But I'm, as an outsider looking in, and all you have to do is have a look at results. The results don't lie. Dearden and Clifford are your best halves partners. And they're over 50% win rate this year, and you guys are under 50% for the total year.
Yes.
So that says to me, he can't keep mucking around with that. Now, poor Tom Duffy, or Duffy, whatever, Duffy? Duffy. I think he got the raw end of the stick in round 1 and round 2 because I don't remember who you played in round 1, but in round 2 you came up against the red hot Cronulla team who had just gone to Vegas and lost to the Panthers.
Of course you remember that clearly.
I do. I remember that one very clearly because it's my team, not yours. But yeah, look, from what I saw of him in that, he was just a deer in the headlights and a young kid in the half thrust into a position that he shouldn't have been. Clifford comes in and you guys look really good. There's no, Clifford has that ball playing ability. He's got a great combination with Drinkwater. I don't know how he's just not given another 1-year deal.
No, neither do I, man. He's an Australian schoolboy, Mr. Young Tom Duffy. But if he goes somewhere, I'm sure he'll kill it.
If he goes to Canberra, that's frightening.
Clifford or Duffy would be very, very frightening. And I'd also be even more terrified to be lumped alongside the Gold Coast Titans, who currently have 4 ex-halfbacks who are currently in the top 4 on the NRL ladder. So I don't want that sort of moniker on the North Queensland Cowboys next year.
Now, we've already spoken about him a little bit here in the media buzz, but Reid Mahoney is confirmed to be a North Queensland Cowboy from 2026. He signed a 3-year deal, I believe?
Yes, sir.
3-year deal. Look, I think Reid will just finish his career there.
Yes.
As it goes, losing Reece Robson and gaining Reid Mahoney, I think it's much of a muchness.
Yeah. Reid Mahoney, again, he's turned the tide since the start of the year, and he does look really good. And he's got a lot of passion for the Bulldogs. It's good to see that sort of passion, even though he's getting mucked around with a little bit there. There is an option. I read on X that if he wanted the 4th year, if he's good, he does get that 4th year. So potentially 4 years. It's not a like-for-like replacement. I'd say Reid Mahoney brings a kicking game that Reece Robson couldn't quite develop properly. Maybe he will at the eastern suburbs. But Reid Mahoney, I really like the signing. It is not a like-for-like replacement, but I do like Reid Mahoney.
Yeah, I think what you lose in the areas that Robson's good at, you pick up in the areas that Mahoney's good at. As you said, the kicking game. I think Mahoney's service is a little bit better, but, Reece Robson's service is very good, and his defence is very good as well. But Mahoney's always the top of the tackles, but he can be at the top of the missed tackles as well.
Same too with Reece Robson as well, man. So, yeah, they're both go-getters in the hooker department. Also, who maybe backs him up next season, that's... I'm going to go really niche there if I continue on any further.
Yeah, no, I think Reid Mahoney has left because he wants to be that 80-minute hooker. So I don't think there'll be someone on the bench, but I think there'll be someone to push him in the background.
Yeah, not Carl Lawton.
Not Carl Lawton. And finally, look, we do love touching on the NRLW here. It is a big passion of Dan and myself. I'm getting into it as well. But your North Queensland Cowgirls didn't have the best of performance on the weekend. It was a 26-0 loss to Newcastle.
6!
Oh,
One try to Alicia Ford.
Yeah. Oh, last try wins.
Yeah.
There we go. Last try with 26-6. Look, Newcastle in round 1 got stunned by the Dogs.
Yeah. Newcastle were pretty ordinary in that game as well. So I had about 6.5 Jim Beams in me at the time of the kickoff, but I did try to keep one eye on the TV. And I would say that the Cowboys did hold their own in that first half, and it just unravelled from there on in. Newcastle Knights. Now, I think it was you that told me that Knights don't have an aura about them. Well, they shone friggin' brightly last night, so thank you for the jinx there, bro. But North Queensland, I thought they were very impressive in round number 1. I still believe in their team very much so. Consider this a blip on the radar, and they move on to round 3.
Yeah, look, I think Jessie Southwell heard me say that there was no aura about that Newcastle team when she came out, and I apologise. Now, Sam?
Yes, sir.
I gave you your moment to talk about the Cowboys.
Thank you.
Now we're going to talk about the boys in the black, white and blue. Fins are up. This segment, of course, is brought to you by Winnett Civil Grading. If you can, everybody, please give them some love. Jump on everywhere you can. And a big shout out to our friends from Winnett Civil Grading. And this week, all 4 grades from the Sharks were in it to win it. Now let's start with the game against the Dolphins. Now it was the Battle of the Sea, Battle of the Ocean. Now we were 0-2 against the Dolphins going into this game. We got absolutely embarrassed at the Magic round, and then they pantsed us at home. It was awful. So coming into this game, we need to get a little bit of revenge. Sharks obviously not in the best form. Dolphins the best attacking team. And Nicho Hines.
Yes.
The lights were shining bright on the Prince of the Shire.
Yes, they certainly were. Nicho Hynes, arguably the performance of the season.
Yep.
However,
best game for us, yeah.
However, I want to put just a little bit of a dampener on it. Yeah, sure, Dolphins came back. I still don't think the Sharks played. And would you say 8? Do you think they hit 8 out of 10 in that game?
I gave it a 7.
Yeah, okay.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think if you have a look at the levels that could have gone up, I think that you saw the Dolphins in that 15 minutes. I'm the firm believer that if Cody Nikorima and the Hammer are playing in that game, they've got 4, 5, and 6 levers to pull.
Okay.
Whereas Cronulla, we're probably hoping for a bit of Will Kennedy magic.
Yes, yes.
Or a Braden Trindle kick and hope.
Kennedy did provide a little bit of magic, but didn't.
Look, bounce back game from Will Kennedy, but let's take it back to Nico here.
Yeah.
By far, head and shoulders the best player on the park.
Yes, sir.
By far, his best performance of the season so far. Now, he has had some good performances for us.
Yes.
And when people turn around and say that Nico's completely out of form, it's, stats don't back that mantra up. But anyone who tuned in for a hate watch on that game didn't get what they were asking for because Nico stood up tall.
Yes, sir.
Another person who stood up tall for us is the 2-time Sharks Player of the Year, Blake Brayley. Mm-hmm. He was, in the first half, he was incredible. And in fact, at halftime, I had him pegged in for my man of the match.
Yo.
It was just that Nico literally won us the game in the second half. He scored the try and threw the pass to Katoa at the end to seal it. But Blake Brayley has just been in a tear of form. Now, I know Reece Robson is leaving you, so this is your chance to dump on him. But do you think Blake Brayley can push him for the New South Wales Blues number 9 next year?
I think so as well. I think over the past 2 years he has been New South Wales Origin calibre, whereas the years prior to that people were saying he was Origin calibre. I couldn't see it, and I think our thoughts maybe align with
Very
that sort of way of thinking. So I do think Brayley does deserve another shot at the squad, because he has been selected in a squad before, has he not?
He's been in the camp.
He's been in the camp, right?
Yeah.
He's been in the camp. So I think next season, you talk about Laurie Daly not choosing favourites, starting afresh, choosing the players purely based on form. I love Reece Robson, right? I really like Reece Robson. And I can be as biased as anybody, but I think that Blake Brayley may have just had him there before game 1 of this season. So he's really, it's not as if he's not that far off, like he's right there for next year.
I fully, I agree with you, and I said this year that if I was selecting a New South Wales team, Blake Brayley would have been my player. Now, no one can turn around and say that's biased, because for about 5 years before that, I actually should dump on Blake Brayley and wanted him out of the club. Now there's an article saying we're about to extend him for life, and I'm about to celebrate that.
Oh.
So Brayley has, 22, 23 Blake Brayley was, 24, 25 Blake Brayley is right up there in terms of the number 9s of the competition. Obviously, you've got your clear-cut Harry Grant, best number 9 in the comp. I don't know why New South Wales won't look at Appy. So if you're having a look between Wade Egan, Blake Brayley and Reece Robson, I know ladder positioning for Wade Egan probably has him above, but I'd be on Blake Brayley every single day. Now let's talk about another guy. We said that Nicho Hynes won us the game, but Tobias Rudolph, he saved the game.
He sure did. Yep.
Now, Toby, since coming back, his fitness levels, we've never said that Toby's the fittest player. And every time he comes back from an injury, his minutes usually do get staggered from 20 to 25 to 30. Played big minutes this week off the bench.
Yeah.
Aiden Fanua-Blake went off with an injury. We'll talk about that in the next part. But Toby, man, at the time of the game where you normally think that Toby Rudolph is gassed, he turned up and he saved the game for us.
Yeah, so Oregon Kafusi and Braden Hamlin-Uele, and not Jesse Colquhoun. Is that how you pronounce Colquhoun?
Colquhoun.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But Toby Rudolph, whenever he has played this year, because he was out for a month or so, he just brings another level of commitment and passion, desire. So he's maybe your second best prop. He's really in conversations for that just because of how impactful he is whenever he has donned the jersey this season. But yeah, his play the other night to save your bacon with Jeremy Marshall-King raging in behind him was pretty special.
Yeah, now Dan and I have always said on this show that when we signed Toby Rudolph, we actually signed him, he was an edge back rower, but we've turned him into a lock and then a prop. And for a long period of time, he was what you would call a number 2 prop. James Fisher-Harris had his Moses Leota. We've seen, James Fisher-Harris now have his Mitch Barnett. The good props Pat Carrigan to Payne Haas, right? We've always said that Toby Rudolph is a number 2 prop, and now we've got Adam Fanua-Blake, who is the clear-cut number 1 prop.
Yep.
I think Tom Hazelton has now become our number 2 prop, and when he started alongside Adam Fanua-Blake, he was really good. Yeah. I love this Toby Rudolph that we're getting, and whilst Hazelton's out, I don't know if I would start Toby because the impact that he brings off the bench and that spell that he has in the middle of the park, but his runs, his tackles, and I've watched the replay of the Sharks-Dolphins game, and you can see Jeremy Marshall-King, he's ahead of Toby looking for the ball, and he just looks up at the big screen and still sees Toby there, and I think that's why he bobbles it. Yep. He just has that quick look up, and if Toby's not there, Marshall-King scores that, and it's 18-14.
Yes, sir.
And Cronulla are done.
Yep.
They had the Dolphins had all the running. We go up the other end of the field. Nico scores, ices the game. It's over. Yeah. So, Toby, we absolutely love you. But what we didn't like seeing with 10 minutes to go in the game was Adam Fanua-Blake limp off the field. Now, reports have come out that it was just a really, really nasty cork.
Okay.
And he's got a 1-week turnaround. They're confident they can massage it and the treatment. And I guess it was cold on Friday night and a cork, you try and play through it. But the way that he limped off, I'm a little bit worried that he may miss the Roosters game.
Well, you rest him now, don't you? You don't wait until round 27, or do you?
I think the fact that we've rested AFB in terms of his minutes during the year, but this game against the Roosters, we've got what people would call a very soft draw coming up. But us and the Roosters are on the same amount of points. We need to beat the Roosters this weekend.
Yeah, soft draw and a really, really tough game's coming up this Friday. Yeah, no such thing as a soft draw.
Yeah, so after the Roosters, we've got what we would we don't play another top 8 team.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So I would say the Roosters game for us is really important. We need to win that, go into the bye in a couple of weeks on good form because we do have a very good run home, and a lot of the games are at home.
Yep.
I don't think we leave Sydney.
No, I'd have to check the tape. I'd have to check it.
I think someone said that we don't leave Sydney because even Newcastle's at home. We may play the Titans, but I think that could be a home game as well. So we get this really, really nice... And the last game of the season against the Bulldogs, who you would think would have a top 4 spot wrapped up and not much to play for. But Fanua-Blake's injury, he's been so good for us this year.
Of course.
It was hard to see him walk off, but he goes off, Toby comes on. Toby saves the game for us. So.
Aidan Fanua-Blake also had a really tough week as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that had just a minute factor into it as well.
Yeah, and you say that Fanua-Blake lost his grandfather, and we're all really sorry about that.
Yes.
Britt Nickera's partner gave birth to a baby boy.
Right.
And then Cam McInnes woke up on Wednesday morning and couldn't move his neck, so went into hospital and had his neck drained. 48 hours later, all these guys are playing. So it just shows that sport, camaraderie, everyone got up for the boys. We beat the Finns on the weekend. It was great to see.
You guys had the bye, and the days leading up to the big game, all these very unfortunate things started to happen on you, of course. But you guys got away with the chockies in the end because of Nico Hines, man, and Toby Rudolph. Yeah,
Nico, Toby, Brayley, they were the best for us. Now, Jersey Flag, we turned up just after half-time, and they got away with a 48-18 win. At one stage, it was 48-12, and you think, there was 25 minutes to go. You're thinking this scoreline could be anything. Cronulla put the cue in the rack, took Felix Fartili off. Riley Pollard came off towards the end of the game as well. The Newtown Jets had a bit of a harder game. They got a lead, got pegged back, got a lead, got pegged back. 26 points to 12 with 4 minutes to go, and Manly scored 2 late tries to make it 26-24. That Niwai Puru penalty goal at halftime proving the difference for us. The men won 24-14, we've talked about that. And the girls, the NRL, the girls in the black, white and blue, they've bounced back off their 2-point loss for a 50-point win. The second time they've gone to Canberra and put 50 on a team. 56-6, same scoreline.
Resetting their own record.
Yeah, resetting the... Georgia Hanaway equaling Taylor Preston's 8 goals.
Yeah.
Emma Veron scoring 4 tries, and I think she's the 5th person to do that.
Yes.
First person for the Sharks to score a hat-trick. First person for the Sharks to score 4 tries. So congratulations to Emma. She was a clear woman of the match for mine.
Yeah.
And Stephanie Faulkner on debut, coming off the bench, scores 2 tries, which is a great story there as well. So, You know, and then I watched the Parramatta Eels play, and you just think, how did you lose that game? But the Sharks actually showed what they were made of this week.
1,000%, man. I do love the look of their young halves. Let me talk about the NRL dub Sharks, because I do love the NRL dub. But I love the Sharkies halves combination. They're very young. Georgia Hanaway and Shante Kirioratu. Give them a couple of years, though. They're going to be in and out of first grade. We were talking about it at length. I'm sure you've already spoken about it as well. But Jada Taylor is not too far away, so one of those two young ladies is going to be out with Emma Varon moving into 5'8". Are you okay with Emma Varon moving back to 5'8"?
Not after that performance.
Yeah.
Because she ran for like 260 metres. She didn't drop a ball. I actually said to you, like, Cassie Staples, she's just horrendous under the high ball.
Speaking of Velcro.
Yeah, I would actually be moving Jade Taylor to the wing.
Yeah, don't know, man. Coming back off an ACL, a position that she has never really played too much before. Yeah, I know. I would
fullback, you got to run everywhere. The form that Emma Varon's in compared to the form that Cassie Staples.
But she wasn't in that form in game number 1. Emma Varon.
She was still our man of the match.
Yeah, okay. But
I
would personally have Jada Taylor back at fullback instantly instead of her trying to relearn the wing.
Look, I like Emma Varon at 5'8", and I thought she was very, very good last year for us as well.
Super
and
capable.
She creates she created a lot of space for Penatani Gray last year, and obviously Anessa Biddle. But I just liked her at fullback. I really, really liked her at fullback on the weekend as well. So we're spoiled for riches. Now, am I correct in saying that Georgia Hanaway is a former cowgirl?
No, but she is a Queenslander.
She is a Queenslander. Okay, someone told me this was from North Queensland, which made me really happy. But going back to it, the NRLW girls, they bounce back. They've got the best for and against in the competition now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you only lost by
46.
2. And you also got a pretty damn good hooker in Quincy Dodd as well, who I thought...
My favourite player.
Yeah, she took control at times herself this past weekend against the Canberra Raiders. So, yeah, Quincy Dodd.
Yeah. Brianna Byers as well had a fantastic game. I think everyone at Cronulla, everyone in every position, in every grade this weekend, gets a pass mark on this couch, Sam.
I should come down to Sydney more often.
You should. Sam.
Yes, sir.
It's time for some tips.
Oh, hell yes.
Now, you're tipping for Dan. All right? Now, this is a chance to stitch Dan up. Now, off camera, you said, I'm going to tip every game that I think is going to lose. And I said, don't. But now I'm with you. So, tip every game that you think is going to lose here. We're going to start Thursday night. The Dolphins, I don't know where this game's being played. I actually should have checked this out. But they're playing your Cowboys. Now, bounce back game. Hammer's going to be back. No Cody Nikorima for the Dolphins, though. It's going to be interesting to see what you guys do in the halves.
Yes.
Clifford, hopefully he overcomes that injury and gets in there.
Yep.
Now, the Dolphins are the home team. They don't actually have a home ground, though, so that's why I don't know where this game's going to be played. It could be played anywhere in Australia. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, we're going to be missing Jordan McLean to a freshly minted new injury to him. Will be out this weekend. North Queensland playing the Dolphins at Suncorp. The away team has won on every single occasion. Now, the Cowboys have bucked the trend a couple of times this season, Terry. And because I'm in Dan's place, and maybe just a little bit of reverse psychology, if you don't mind me saying so, I think the Cowboys are going to lose 13 plus.
Cool. Now, every time I pick the Dolphins, they have lost. But I picked them on this couch last week to beat Cronulla.
Oh.
So I want them to lose.
Yep.
I need them to lose.
It sounds like you and I just walk out on this game.
I'm gonna pick the Dolphins.
Okay.
I'll tip the Dolphins because I want them to lose. Friday, 6 o'clock. Probably the game of the round in terms of what it means for a top 8 spot here and some breathing space. The Sharks are hosting the Roosters. Now, way back when the Sharks took on a Origin depleted Roosters team, started the match at $1.30 favourites and were beaten 42 points to 16. Cronulla know what they're up for now. They know that James Tedesco is playing. Sam Walker's back in the squad. Hugo Savala has kept the spot at 5'8". Victor Radley has put the headgear on and looked absolutely incredible. We know that Daniel Tupou is going to be catching bombs all week. He did it again on the weekend. That's what happens when you got a 6'6" winger who can jump. You kick to him. Who would have thought? We need to start with Ronaldo marked on Daniel Tupou from the get-go.
Yep.
I want to pick Cronulla.
Before you say anything,
I'm not going to. I'm picking the Roosters.
Hugo Savala will not be playing in this game. He has been injured. I think it's a hand injury. So
Sandon Smith will... will come into the squad.
But Sam Walker also not suspended.
Not suspended for a cannonball. Now, the reason Sam Walker was not suspended, was only fined, is because he hasn't played for 13 months. So he gets the reset.
Okay, half your luck.
Gets that reset on there. And yeah, so I think he picked up a fine. Is that all? That's all he got for the cannonball. Yeah, so Sam Walker, Sandon Smith. Last time we played, Sandon Smith killed us as well. So I'm going to pick the Roosters in this.
Yeah, it's hard to forget what the Roosters did to you guys in one of the more shocking losses of the past few years, man, to any team. So it is hard to go past the Roosters. The Sharkies, like, they were good in patches on Friday night, but still got really nervous towards the end against the Dolphins. I think who do I think is going to lose this game? I am going to tip the Sharks.
And on Friday night, the Panthers are hosting South Sydney. Now, I don't even think we need to talk about this game here. Souths are in disgusting form. Penrith are on the up, all the way up.
Yeah.
I think Penrith are going to win this game. They're going to win it comfortably.
I think South Sydney are going to pull something out of their own hat and win.
Okay. Let's go. We get a Super Saturday, and it starts off in the nation's capital with the Canberra Raiders hosting the Parramatta Eels.
I'm actually looking forward to this game. I think both styles could make for an entertaining game.
Yeah, it'll be really entertaining when Canberra score 60.
And the Eels score 20.
Now, I don't know what Jason Riles was thinking of his game plan going into Penrith in putting Dylan Brown at hooker, substituting him after 28 minutes and bringing him on with 6 minutes to go. Now, a couple of Parramatta fans have said to me, oh, I would be doing that thinking about the future. If you're thinking about the future, just don't play Dylan Brown. Yeah. Just put him on holidays now.
Yep.
If you're confident that your team's not going to make the finals, and they're not going to make the finals, let's be honest with that. We don't know when Moses is coming back. Don't play him for the rest of the year if we're looking for the future. And don't embarrass him by playing him at hooker if you are going to do it, because that game plan just didn't work. Their most creative player was sat on the bench for 44 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I think Dylan Brown has been incredibly average in a year where he needed to stand up and confirm his $1 million pay packet for Newcastle next year. And for him to then miss out in the final 20 minutes, he didn't play the final 20 minutes of that game.
He played the last 6 minutes.
6 minutes after missing like a huge stretch.
So they took him off at the 28th minute?
Yeah.
In the first half?
Yeah.
And they brought him back on with 6 minutes to go when the game was done.
Yeah, it's one of the more bizarre decisions that a coach has made in a little while. But I remember reading that Mitch Moses was lining up to return against the Canberra Raiders. I don't think that will do much in the way of who I tip. I know I got to give Dan a bit of a stitch up, but I can't go past my second favourite team, the Raiders.
Yeah, but the Eels, you're tipping the Eels.
Okay, sorry, I'm tipping the Eels. I'm sorry.
Very good. 5 o'clock, we have... Oh, my handwriting's atrocious. Canterbury are hosting the Dragons.
Yep.
So this is the rivalry that we always hear about, the big rivalry. Canterbury, though, their form... Like, I wasn't impressed with them against you guys.
No. They had outs.
If I'm really honest, like, even with the outs that they had, I thought they were going to beat you by 20. But I just wasn't impressed. And, you know, they dropped Lachlan Galvin, which is more disruptive for their team. Yep. What are they going to do with him? I know Stephen Crichton's going to come back and blah, 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 whatever. I still think they've got enough for the Dragons. I'll put it that way. They're the home team. They've got enough to beat the Dragons. I think they'll beat the Dragons.
I think the Dragons can come back off of the back of a Clint Gutherson masterclass and give us a sneak preview of what's going to happen in Las Vegas between these two teams.
7:30, down in Melbourne at Amy Park. The Storm will get all the Origin players back as they take on Manly. Now, Manly, surprisingly, in the top 8.
I know.
They've been on a run of form lately, and I think, you know, Dan and I have spoken about it recently, but you know, ever since Daly Cherry Evans has just blocked the noise out and the club has blocked the noise out and just got on with playing footy, Anthony Seibold made the correct decision that Dan and I have spoken about and said Tom Turbo going to the centres and putting Lehigh Hopewadi back there. He's the fullback for the future for the club.
Yes.
I think he's done all the right things. It's going to be great to see where Manly are at. I think this is just going to be a step too far for them.
No, I think Manly can fly down to Melbourne off of the back of defeating West Tigers, who were depleted, and beating South Sydney, who were depleted. I think Manly are in great form, and they can go down to Melbourne and pip the Storm.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna argue with you on that, because Manly are in great form. They're one of the form teams of the competition at the moment. They're playing another form team in the competition. I think Melbourne are going to do this one very easily. Sunday afternoon, we have the West Tigers hosting the Titans. Now, this game here is going to go a long way in determining who gets the wooden spoon. Titans, they were valiant in defeat against the Broncos.
Were they?
Well, it was 20-14. If Jaden Campbell ices that play, instead the Broncos go down the other end and score. I thought for the Titans to actually show some fight and come back was pretty good, because normally when they start leaking points, they just leak like it. We saw it against you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. For me though, like, I think if the Tigers lose this game, you've got to put a line through Benji Marshall.
Oh, through Benji Marshall.
You've got to put a line through Benji Marshall.
Struck me pink. Well, the players seem to be around him from what we've heard. Now that they've gotten rid of a couple of pieces of young garbage, God, I've got to keep a lid on that freaking conversation. But I think the Gold Coast Titans, they showed fantastic form, especially in that first half against the Brisbane Broncos. And I think, now actually, they've actually won their past 2 or 3 visits to Sydney to defeat the West Tigers. I think it's like 2 wins at Campbelltown and 2 wins at Leichhardt Oval. So they're actually in fantastic form against the West Tigers, and I think the Titans can go down and beat the Tigers.
Look, fingers crossed for that. I really want that to happen. I want them to beat the Tigers.
And Dan likes the Titans too.
I think the Tigers are going to win though. And finally, up at Newcastle, Sunday afternoon, the Knights are hosting the Warriors. Going to get another sellout crowd. The unfortunate news for the Knights rolling in today is that Dylan Lucas is out for the remainder of the season with a Liz Frank injury.
Bugger.
So Thomas Cant should come into his spot now. I'd like to have seen for Thomas Cant, but the 3 best players for the Knights this year in Fletcher Sharp, Kalen Ponga and Dylan Lucas, all out for the remainder of the season. The Warriors, look, they looked okay in their game against the Tigers. I think Tanner Boyd did enough to direct them around the field. But Sean Nickel-Kluckstar was good. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck back. I don't know if Sean Nickel-Kluckstar will be back this week, but Tane Tuapiki did a great job for them.
Yeah.
I can't see Newcastle winning this game.
Just a shout out to the Warriors, because for a long time they did not have a next man up mentality.
Yep.
It's there. Andrew Webster's done a fantastic job with the Warriors. But the Newcastle Knights were in front against the Melbourne Storm, and I think that will buoy them enough to get a big win in front of their home fans this weekend against the Wars.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. No Dan tonight. Sam, fantastic as always to have you down here. We can find you online at Wobblin Jaw Sports. You do lots of great content for the North Queensland Cowboys. You had the NRLW coach on recently.
Yeah, Ricky Henry came on for an hour and spoke to me, so that was absolutely amazing for him to give up his time. Such rare access. But yeah, Wobblin Jaw Sports on Instagram, YouTube. I'm floating around on X these days as well. But you and Dan, just producer Adam in the background there, you guys do fantastic work as well. Have done for many, many years.
It's always great to collab with content creators. We met some West Tigers creators as well out on Thursday night out at Campbelltown as well. So that was really good, and cheers.
Thank you.
Oh God, I missed Dan.